So earlier on, we talked a little bit about the early leadership team. You're also going to have some early employees. And even though this does apply to the leadership team, I'm kind of imagining that the people who are sat around the table have the mentality of the startup and are really going to want to do things. And doesn't always mean the case. I've been in one company where one of the founders really just wanted the glory of being a founder rather than actually doing any of the work. You don't have the luxury of hiring people who are going to sit around and do nothing. You cannot have passengers on the startup bus. Every single person must be contributing at 150%, especially in the early days. So they need to be enthusiastic people who believe in the idea, who are not here just for a salary, but they're here for the mission and really taking this thing forwards. And this is again where you've got to be careful when you pick the people who are going to come into the company. There's a lot of people who've been in big corporations who really don't understand what life is like in a startup. You don't have personal assistants. Things are not done for you. If you're going to make a coffee, no one's going to make a coffee for you. You've got to make the coffee yourself. If you're going to book a train, you've got to book it yourself. Some people can handle that, some people can't. And again, if you get the luxury of finding people that have been in startups before, they'll get it. People who've not been in this before, and quite often, I'll say this, the clinicians have had an assistant or a PA, they're not used to doing what they need to do in a startup. So what does that team member sort of look like? Well, besides them being super enthusiastic, able to think out of the box, you want doers, people who are willing to roll their sleeves up and get their hands dirty, especially early on. People are going to have to clean the office. You're not going to be paying for office cleaners. People are going to have to put the cups in the dishwasher. You're not going to pay for services that come in and clean all your cups away. People are going to have to go and drive around and get things done. They're going to have to go and turn up to suppliers and get some prototypes. They're going to have to go to DHL and send some things by DHL. You need doers. You need people who are in that mentality of doing. That's one of the dangers, again, of people coming out of the big corporate structure. They're just not used to that thing where you have to do everything from turning the lights on in the morning, everything throughout the day, turning the lights off at the end of the day and walking out of the office. The best startups that I've been in is where you've got a group of like-minded people who are just doers. They will pitch into anything. You need some help with this? They'll all get in and they'll all just get their hands dirty and get it done. And you need to find groups of people that are really doers. They're not the people who like to say, well, I'm here to give you my brain and you can do it. And this is going to go on, by the way, all the way throughout. The best managers are the ones who are going to be in and on the ground and know how to do it. What you're not after here is a group of really seasoned people managers that are going to have an army of people that are going to do things for them, because you're not going to have that army of people. And quite often you bring in somebody to come and be in a management job and you call them a manager because they need the title, and then they say, well, who am I managing? And you say, no one, it's yourself, you're doing it. And then there's a big disconnect and then it just doesn't work. So you need to early on get a management team that's got that doer mentality, that is not stuck in the ways of a big company, that has potentially done startups before or done their own self-startup businesses in some kind before. Get the doers, it will make all the difference, especially in the early stage of the company. Let's continue.